Hey, this is Eddie with the Crippled Handyman. Hey, thanks for joining me. And hey, let's talk about car payments. Let's talk about the middle class. Um, who is the middle class? There are definitely before I get into the middle class, you do have the three levels. I believe you got the lower middle class, you got the middle class, and then you got the upper middle class. And that's been like that forever. If you're in the upper middle class, you're bringing anywhere up to $400,000 a year. That's my perspective. To be in the middle class, the middle class, I think you could bring up to 100,000. Say 75 to 100. Say 75 to 125,000. And then if you're in a lower middle class, has 75,000 and down. That's the lower middle class. Um, I don't want to even ever include, say, I mean, I know that there's poverty. People that if you don't have a job and you're not making any income, that's just you're not middle class of even lower middle class. So I don't know, 40,000 to 75,000, where you're just struggling. You're struggling and you can't get by. If you're middle class, you're you're doing actually fine as long as you keep your credit card debt in check. You don't have all these expensive vehicle payments. Um, Yeah, and if you're upper middle class, well, you're doing your vacations, you're doing whatever, you're living life, you're living well. And the majority of our country, that's what it's based on. That's who pays for all this extra crap because we are the majority, and it's all three levels of the middle class. So if you're in the middle class and you're part of us, part of the group, I should say, welcome aboard. We're the one that's carrying the weight of all this government crap. Everything got so expensive, and they keep pushing it onto us, and they keep forcing the middle class down, 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 down. That's all they keep doing, forcing it down, and it's up to us to not get down in there. And yeah, that's that's my 2 cents on that part. Um, you know, these vehicle payments too. The cost of vehicle payments. You know, when you drive by a middle class home and you see two vehicles in there, two newer vehicles, and they're middle class. They're broke or they have all this debt that they're paying on. My neck is killing me. I want to pop it. Do you know that the average new vehicle loan payment out there, as far as the average is like $40,000 on new vehicles. That's how much people normally takes out. I know there's loan payments that are 100,000, 80,000, but that's even worse. I've seen these videos where people are paying 1,000 a month, 1,200 a month on a car, on a freaking car. That's rent. That's rent payment. They're broke. And if they're not broke, they're hustling, they're doing something possibly illegal. I don't know. I don't know. And then the average loan amount that people take out for a used car is like $26,000. The reason I'm talking about this whole car payment, when you're driving down the road and you see somebody, driving a nice newer car, they have a car payment anywhere, what they say, anywhere from 500 to 700 plus dollars a month. That's the average car payment. And I know that has to be the average because when I owned my truck back in 16, not the one I drive, I had a 2011 Ford F-250 crew cab with the diesel motor in it. Beautiful truck. And my payment was like $565 a month. And I could afford that because actually I was scrapping, and the scrap business paid that payment and paid for the fuel, paid for the repairs, whatever I needed done to the truck. So obviously that might have been average, above average. That was in 2016. I had a payment like that. Shoot, I remember in 2001 I had a car payment of almost $500. Literally. It might have been, I think it was like not 2001. Was it? Yeah, 2001, 2002. I had a car payment of like $500 back 23 years ago, folks. So, yeah, I was a crazy guy. Living a big, expensive home and living the dream. I was busting my butt, making a lot of money, but I was doing it, you know. I was making more than 75 grand, making more than 80 grand, making more than 90 grand. I was in the six figures, and it was happening. I was making a lot of money, and then it came to my senses. And I actually just started I'm selling the house. I don't want this. I'm done with this. I just want a simple living. Because I guess what happened was I started thinking, I make all this money, and a lot of it goes to debt. I put a little bit away, but I want to be able to put a lot more away. I was in my early 30s. I might have been 33, 34, and I want to put more away. And so I did that, and then relationship crashed and burned after 15 years. I don't want to get into that. But it wasn't my doing. You don't know when your spouse is unfaithful. So, like these people drive around all these expensive cars. They have a car payment. And not one. You have a married household. You got 2 car payments most of the time. I am so... So speaking about car payments, it was literally today, and I don't even know how my wife feels about this. I don't even know what she thinks. As far as I know we talked okay, we'll wait 4 years. We'll save up this much amount of money. We're 40, 50 grand. And we're going to go and pay cash for a newer vehicle. Newer, like a 2000. Well, by then it would be, say it's 2028 by then. So I would be looking for a 2024 Lincoln Navigator. Something that's 4 to 5 years old. That's actually what I'd like to get for us. I think when she drives one, she'll be like, "Ooh, this is nice." I got to get her in one first. But we're gonna pay cash for it. But that's our goal to do that. We own both of our cars. Her vehicle is 12 years old. Mine is 31 years old. I did a short video, did a video about my 31-year-old truck. It's got a new motor. Son of a bitch is leaking oil. So it's leaking something. There's a spot on my floor, size like this. I am not happy about that. So I don't know what's going on. I gotta get underneath the truck, see where the leak is coming from. I gotta see what the hell's going on. My mechanic said you got a little slight leak. I'm like, oh, I know, little. Well, that slight leak. Well, now there's a little round puddle in there. Back in the old days, when you have a concrete driveway, you tell the person, "Don't pull on my driveway if your car leaks." That was my old man. Leave your car on the street. He was very animate about keeping oil leakers off his concrete driveway. We had the cleanest concrete driveway ever. If you ever see these other concrete driveways back in those days, you may remember this. There'd be oil spills, oil leaks, and, I think that's why people started doing asphalt where they didn't give a shit. But yeah, if you have concrete, I always had concrete driveways, and it's you get a little, you kind of when you see an older car pull up, you're like, does your car leak? All right, get it off my driveway. Oh, those were the days. But I don't even care if these people were doctors. My wife works with this doctor, and his vehicle is 15 years old, and he loves it. He won't. He said he'll drive that till it dies, and then he'll get another vehicle. My old boss, that's what he did. The same thing. He would drive the vehicle, basically until it just croaked. And then he would just go out buy another brand new vehicle and hang on to it for life. I mean, maybe that's the way to do it. I don't know. You know what? I really don't know. I mean, I guess if you get in a better position, I know they talk about if I think it's 3% or 5%. I would hate to have the 5% because then I could, then the car payment could even be more money a month, like 15, 1,600. It was a stupid amount when I was doing the math. Maybe I was doing the math wrong. But I know what we have extra every month. And it's yeah, we could do that. It's like, yeah, we could actually both get newer vehicles right now. If she had 500, I had 500, we'd be both okay. But our insurance will probably go up because I wouldn't want to get rid of what we have. I would actually keep both vehicles just for, actually what I would do, I'll put them on Turo. And if you've watched enough of my videos, guys, gals, I get sidetracked when I start talking. I get sidetracked all the time. Yes, I'm glad I turned the microphone on. I've done videos where I forgot to turn it on. It sucks. The quality is way clearer when I talk through this versus the camera or recorder on the computer. Oh my God. So yeah, when you're driving down the road and these people are driving these vehicles and, they're newer vehicles, they have a car payment. Sometimes you get in a situation where you don't have a choice, but you do have a choice on what kind of vehicle you do buy. Is it still impossible to find a vehicle for less than $300? Because interest rates have risen, we would just go through our credit union and get the loan. I would just play the game at the dealership and be like, oh yeah, we're gonna finance, and then they'll think the finance guy is gonna get us. So, what was cool with my credit union? I'm getting off track again. This is about don't drive a newer car to impress. Afford your car payment. Period. If you're doing it to try to impress somebody, you're trust me, I don't get impressed when I see newer vehicles out there. There's some newer vehicles. I'm like, these newer vehicles, you guys, and gals, guys, I would say especially. I know there's some girls that are motorheads, but for you guys that are motorheads, gearheads, I should say it. I would say my era was probably the last era when there was like really cool cars. I would say the 50s and 60s, they had some cool cars. I had a 68 Mustang. I remember I had a 69 Dodge Coronet. I had a couple older cars that had, just fun and cool. And you'd be out, in the summertime, you're cruising down the cruising neighborhoods and everyone else is cruising. I remember cruising through Marionette Park. That was out in Chicago. Man, we just cruising and just like, yeah, everyone's out there with their rides. And those were the good old days. Those were fun times. That is fun. I don't know if these young kids today do that anymore. I don't know. I guess depending on where you live, probably in California, they probably still do that because of the population. I bet they still do that. But I know I keep getting sidetracked of where I was at. It's more or less like if you're going to buy a vehicle and you say you have to absolutely have a vehicle, there's another thing I want to talk about too. Getting back to what I was just kind of talking about. Kind of stay in your lane to have something affordable. I would still like to know if my wife was like, oh, it'd be nice to get a different car. I know she does not like what she drives. I know that. It's like, oh, that's okay. Why didn't you pick it out? It's like, I know that. I'm just trying to find a good cruising car for when we travel or we could drive cross country. My truck, I need a new transmission in it. And I may try a new adventure because we get a lot of snow up here. I might throw a snowplow in it. And I'd have to get a new transmission if I'm going to do that. I'm thinking about it. I think I got to dump about 10 grand with everything, and then I have to find some kids to help snowblow, and I have to figure that out. But I can make a quick 75 grand. I wouldn't say quick. You can make about 75 grand in winter months up here. There's still people like asking always, snowplow. Is there anyone out for a snowplow? So it's tempting. Get like a $4,000 snowplow, new transmission and all that. But what I want to talk about, this is what I want to talk about. Yeah, it's the one thing I was talking about earlier when I want to talk about, I was thinking about was the younger generation. I'm talking high school kids in their 20s. it's not their fault what these auto manufacturers are making anymore. Yeah, there's some cool looking cars like the Dodge Charger. What is it? The the Hellcat. Yeah, there's some YouTubers out there that like rebuild them. Yeah, there's some cool looking Mustangs. But if you want like some real cool cars, you got to go back to the 50s and 60s, 70s, a little bit in the 70s as well. But those were the cool cars, hands down. Um, and then I was thinking about it. I'm like, it's not their fault. It's not their fault that manufacturers are not building or making these cool cars. I think what they need, this is my opinion on what the manufacturers need to start doing again. Instead of having all this technology in them, all this computer stuff, and of course it's too late. They don't want these muscle motors in them, and they're worried about fuel efficiency. If you got a muscle car, you're not caring about fuel efficiency. You don't care. You're just cruising, and basically you're just showing off, anyways. You're showing off your hot rod, your car. That's it. You don't give a care in the world. If you got like some sort of I don't know, the mirrors or the back seats are heated now, or I don't know. I'm just saying, with all this technology that are going in the cars, you look on the outside of the car, super flimsy. It's like tinfoil, and it's just, yeah. So it's not your fault that you didn't grow up with the cool car generation. When I was growing up, you could buy them. They're still available. Now to buy them, like I was looking at the Mustang I sold. I had a '68 Mustang Fastback GT, and the original motor was oh my god, a 390. I believe it was a 390. And the guy I bought it from, the motor was already replaced. They put a 302 Boss in it, 4-barrel Holley, a Holley 4-barrel carburetor. It was a 4-speed Hurst stick shifter, and that thing would rock and roll. It would move. It was fun. It was a fun ride. I know the motor was built out, rebored, and as much as they could on that motor. And but it wasn't the 390 that was in that motor in that car originally from stock. So if I would buy it, I paid $4,000 for that car. Was it 4,000 or was it 5? 4 or 5,000. Maybe it was 4,000 cash I paid for that, and replace all the interior, put a new paint job. It was pimping. I'll show you a picture of that car. I'm sorry, I think the only picture I got, I think my shirt's off. So pardon me for when I was like 21, 22 years old, showing some skin. Younger Eddie with some 6-pack abs, 8-pack abs. So I'm going to show a picture. I'll show a picture of that old car I had. Cool car. But cheers. Let me take a sip. I'm parched. But it's more or less like, you're going to stay stuck in the middle class, and there's nothing wrong being in the middle class, because the upper middle class, like I said, I'm going to guess you're anywhere from 125 salary, 125,000 salary income, all the way up to say $400,000. I would place that as the upper middle. Okay, that's how I view it, and I'll never be a 1%er. It'd be cool. Don't care to. Life's changed. I deal with the cards that were dealt with to me, and I just live that way. But no, oh my God, I gotta ask my wife if she, if it does cross her mind to, yeah, it'd be nice to get a different car. I know we got certain things we gotta take care of around this property, like this freaking deck. That's gonna cost us 40 to 50 grand. There goes our Lincoln Navigator, but we got 4 years, so we'll do that next year. Get the deck done in 25. We already did all the countertops this year. We spent some money on this property already this year. Whatever I put in, I'll get back out. I'm not even worried about that. But yeah, if you're those families, you're driving around with these $500, $600, $700 car payments. Just remember, there's 2 of you. And if one of your car isn't paid off, that's 2 of them payments. That's a lot of money. with insurance and get, who cares about fuel? Well, I don't care about that. But you could be spending $2,000 a month just for two cars. If you count auto insurance, if you have a really bad driving history, and they're going to raise it up anyways, they don't give a shit. And you got your registration tags you got to include in that. So depending on what you have, I would say you would have anywhere from $1,000 a month just for a payment. Then if you got insurance, say you're at $1,500, and you could be almost at $2,000. So don't drive to impress, and just because you're a middle class and you drive this fancy car, I guess, like I said, I'm not. It's just for the younger, for you younger people out there under 30, and you think like, oh, they're making it, they're doing it. It's so tempting to get a car. It is so tempting to get an ARC vehicle, to get a third one. So effing tempting. I would love to trick out my truck, though. I would love to trick out my truck. That'd be so cool if someone out there knew, would do that, and how to do that, or there's I don't know, there's places out here, but it would be fun. Just like redo the whole thing, get it back to like kick butt, and yeah, that'd be really cool. Because those were really good trucks. The 1993 GMC Sierra 1500, the Z71 4x4s, those were great trucks back in the day. They were awesome trucks. I remember a buddy of mine, he had one. It was badass. His was used. That was back in 99. I don't think it was a 93, but it was really kick butt. But yeah, sorry about the video being so long. If you made it to this far of the video, God bless you, and subscribe to my channel. Sorry to nosedive off this real fast with so many different things. Like I said, I'm trying to just talk about, this is just whatever I think, my opinions. This is just my own personal opinion. You don't have to agree with it, but if you don't have to, most people that are driving these newer cars, they're going to be stuck in the middle class. They're not going to keep growing with their financial wealth. That's just my personal opinion. I believe if you could probably ask Dave Ramsey, I bet he would say the same thing. He's a very successful man, and yeah. So take care. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.